Apple is now dating Gemini and dumped OpenAI. ChatGPT now comes with advertisements. Claude can be your useless intern. And Stanford scientists created an AI that predicts which disease you're most likely to get. Spoiler alert, it's probably cancer. This is EyeDecoded, and you're watching this week's AI recap. On January 12th, Apple and Google announced a multi-year partnership where Gemini models will be used in future Apple products, including a more personalized Siri launching later this year. Now, the ones of you who are really interested in AI dating shows might recall that OpenAI and Apple had a partnership in 2024. It looks like that's over, and it appears that Apple is taking a break from
About how I was
ChatGPT.
unfaithful to her. We were on a break!
And for OpenAI, this couldn't come at a worse timing. They are urgently trying to figure out how to bring in more revenue from its roughly 800 million monthly users. OpenAI needs serious help to afford the $1.4 trillion it has committed to spend on AI infrastructure over the next 8 years.
That said, OpenAI's revenues are still a reported $13 billion in 2025. And Sam, on your live stream this week, you talked about this massive commitment to compute, right? 1.4 trillion over the next 4 or 5 years with, big commitments, 500 million to NVIDIA, 300 million to AMD and Oracle, 250 billion to Azure. So I think the single biggest question I've heard all week and hanging over the market is how can the company with 13 billion in revenues make 1.4 trillion of spend commitments?
In January, the company announced a partnership with Oracle and SoftBank. Together, they will invest up to $500 billion in a company called Stargate. Their mission is to build more AI infrastructure all across the United States. Their first project is a 1 million square foot data center, and it's already being built in Texas. Now, the CEO of OpenAI, Sam Altman, says the breakup with Apple was mutual. But coincidentally, he announced ChatGPT would now start running advertisements in the same week. For now, the ads will be limited to the United States. OpenAI has said they won't use traditional ads, but instead will show product recommendations when ChatGPT thinks they're relevant. At least Anthropic tries to do something else for your money. They just rolled out Claude Co Work, an AI assistant that can answer questions, edit spreadsheets, and even manage files on your device. In other words, if the AI suffers from an hallucination, it can accidentally overwrite or delete a file you didn't intend for it to touch. Anthropic has also stated that while the tool asks for permission before taking significant actions, it's still in a research phase. So, for the price of a few coffees, Claude Co Work will manage your files, edit your spreadsheets, and it can ruin your entire week by optimizing a document right into the recycle bin. Basically, just like a real intern, but without the small talk. Fortunately, there is also truly useful news. Researchers of Stanford have developed an AI that can predict future disease risk using data from just one night of sleep. The AI is made from a multi-model foundation. That means it can look at images, understand audio or video, and then connect all of these together. SleepFM looks for hidden patterns across the brain, heart, and breathing, and it then predicts risks for conditions like cancer, dementia, and heart disease. The AI can predict over 100 health conditions with an accuracy of at least 80%. For comparison, there are already models used in medical practice that have an average of 70% accuracy. In my eyes, this is exactly what AI should be used for, and not for whatever this is.
I love this look. You're spoiling me. Because you're showering me with gifts and attention, and it makes me feel loved and cherished. I appreciate every effort you make to make me happy.
I think it will suit you perfect. You are so beautiful.